Well, exactly 6 minutes after the hour of 9, right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Today is Sunday, the 12th of June, 2022. By the next Sunday, we will be celebrating Father's Day. And it's in view of that we've decided to talk about what we've got to talk about this very evening. I warmly welcome you to yet another edition of A Walk with Jesus right here on Joy 99.7 FM, your super station, your channel of blessing, and your place of inspiration. My name is Ato Acquah. I'm ably supported by way of production by Abraham Ofosu Ofori. In the book of Malachi, chapter 1, the verse 6. Malachi, chapter 1, and the verse 6. Let me read from the King James Version. It says, "A son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If I then be a father, where is my honor?" Question. And so we're going to be discussing around the subject of honoring fathers. It's going to be an interesting time, even as we discuss this all-important subject. I'll be introducing my resourceful guests in due time. But we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, so please do well to connect and share the links. You have the opportunity to send your comments and your questions via WhatsApp to 055-1111-997. Also, you can get on Facebook and post your comments and your questions there. In due time, I'll be reading them. We'll also be activating the lines in due time. This is A Walk with Jesus right here on Joy 99.7 FM. And even as we prepare ourselves for Father's Day, we're discussing honoring fathers. I want to share a song with you by Johnny Drill. He titles this Papa. Enjoy it.
Papa, he calls me to pray. He tells the Lord to watch over me. Oh, my Papa, he can't like to say as you go away, don't forget where you came. If you lose your way, you can pray. Don't be afraid, don't lose faith. You will find your help, there'll be a way. Just remember to pray, and you'll be okay. Papa says if you lose your way, you can pray. Don't be afraid, don't lose faith. You will find your help, there'll be a way. Just remember to pray, and you'll be okay. Miss F, they pray for Papa. Make him find more strength and grace. And may the good Lord keep him longer. Jesus' name. If you lose your way, you can pray. Don't be afraid.
That's Johnny Drills with Papa there, bringing us to 11 minutes after the hour of 9, right here on A Walk with Jesus on Joy 99.7 FM. We're discussing honoring fathers. Like I said, I have my resourceful guests here. Very, very special guests, tonight. And we're going to be discussing the subject on the table. Right here in the studio, I have Reverend Dr. Fifi folson, the Christocentric Bishop himself, right here in the studios of Joy 99.7 FM as a guest, not as a host, Fifi, a very good evening to you.
Good evening. Thanks for the honor of being here. I'm humbled.
I am as well. How does it feel anyway sitting in the seat as a guest?
It feels awkward.
This is the second time you are sitting on my show as a guest.
It feels awkward.
Really?
Yeah,
you're not the one throwing the questions you have to answer.
So is that what people go through when they come there?
I know, right? I don't want to be there. Right then. And joining us on Zoom from all the way from the United States of America. He's chilling, right. Is another brother. He's another brother, and he's not a reverend doctor. He has bypassed that. He's in some few weeks he'll be Archbishop. Archbishop Doctor, the one and only Kofi Donkor. Kofi, it's evening here, so a very good evening to you.
Well, it's evening as well. It's past 5. So
yes. It's past 5 by now. Right.
It's an honor and a privilege to be on your show. I have been praying that the Lord will touch your heart to be merciful to me, because I look at what happens behind the scenes, how I've been treating you behind the scenes. I hope this is not an opportunity for you to event.
Well, he hasn't touched my heart yet, so pray hard so he touches my heart. Let me begin with you, Kofi. You began this serious campaign, on social media with regards to celebrating fathers. You've been very loud, on social media with regards to celebrating fathers. What triggered this whole thing this time around?
Thank you so much, Joseph. I think that it's been a passion over the years that I have really not had the opportunity to express it. I feel that fathers have not been treated fairly, especially coming from our media and all over the world, if I should put it that way. I think that fatherhood is something unique, because, it's something that God himself, ordered it from the beginning. If you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, where he gives us the mandate to multiply, be fruitful, and all that, you realize that is where the beginning of fatherhood really starts from. But I am tempted to also believe that our media and society has really not been fair to fathers to an extent, and especially when it comes to the media, there's so much noise around Mother's Day and all that, and we have the media is male dominated. Our media landscape in Ghana, is male dominated. Yet it's all about Mother's Day. I can forgive them, the likes of Adeku Santana, Legislators and all those who really push the Mother's Day agenda, because if they don't do it, I'm sure when they get home, they know they're going to be in trouble. So we try to celebrate our wives and our mothers and forget about ourselves. So this year, I feel that coming from a home where I was raised, I think, literally by my father, and my father really raised all of us. I mean, this and on school father I'm talking about. That's the kind of training he gave us and the upbringing he gives us. We celebrate him every year when it is Father's Day. For us, it's really a big day. It's one day that we all come together united, make our father feel very proud that yet he's on good, that the values he installed in us, the discipline and everything we can talk about today, from my elder brother to the least person amongst us. We all attribute that to our daddy. So we think that yes, it's good to celebrate fathers. The kind of relationship I have with my father, I don't have a similar relationship with my mom, unfortunately. My mom is around. I mean, we get talking once a while. My father, at least even once I'm away, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, we get on the phone and then we speak for hours. So I think that there are exceptional fathers. There are fathers who are doing well. And nowadays, when we look around, there are a lot of young fathers that are doing exceptionally well. And I think the story, it's not being said out there. They are not being honored the way they should be. That's how come this year I feel that I personally said, look, I am appointing and nominating myself officially and unofficially as the official Father's Day ambassador. And that's it.
Right. Someone would say that, well, your father is one out of, many who do not deserve, to be celebrated because they have not lived up to expectation. You were fortunate to have a father who has been there and who's impacted you. For those who think like that, what would you want to say to them?
Well, I think that's also a very unfair comment to make, because we equally have mothers who are so irresponsible. We hear every day of, I think it was a week or 2 ago, I heard CJ on Adom saying that someone dumped a baby, a lady dumped a baby. It's not a man, it's a lady, it's a woman. So I don't think it's fair for us to really put men and say that they are not living up to expectation. I don't think that's fair. I think that, even coming from the perspective of the Bible or understanding what fatherhood is about, there's always a maternal man that stands into a womb to make a baby that is called a father. A father is a real man. The real man is the one who stands in to do what is expected of him, shoulders the responsibility, make sure that he does what is right, lead by example, protect his family, provide for your family. When you do, the real man is the father, not just any man that goes out. And it's the same thing when we talk about our mothers too. So it's unfair to assume that, okay, a man will be a money, but a man will be a America. I don't think it's right.
I see. Let me come to you, Uncle Kofi. I know you share same view, with Kofi, that the narrative has got to change, and that fathers really must be celebrated. Over the years, why do you think that we have not been able to celebrate fathers the way we ought to, and this time around we're pushing the need to celebrate the fathers? What has brought us here?
Well, I think that the role of the mother is quite unique. When it comes to women, it has everything to do also with our emotions. I know the men come in, but so you will notice that from time, it's kind of awkward, because fathers, well, hitherto, will not be the types that would even accept to be celebrated. Hard. So
let me be my corner kind of.
Mothers, will go all out for them, and so the narrative obviously would have to go their way. Media, and he's right to say that the advocates, if perhaps you're a husband and you go home, your wife is going to chastise you for not, And so I would think that it stems from how we've been brought up. I think that mothers, by reason of the peculiar roles they play or have played over time, even just the giving birth, episode, it kind of puts them in a position where, we hardly look at men as those who have given birth, even though we produce, right? The women, what they go through the 9 months.
But your mother is only your incubator. Your source is actually your father.
Well, but by reason of carrying the pregnancy for 9 months and going through all they go through, it's like, Charlie, they've gone through a lot. Let's make them happy. for how we have tortured them, for want of a better word, So over the period, you would have that, and it feels good to celebrate mothers, trust me. They will receive it in a way that would want you to do more, But like you said, the man, Charlie, okay, all right, thank you, hard, So that's what, and of course for media, we would obviously pick on the soft side and push, and plus the women are more than the men. Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So what has made it necessary this time around for us to ensure that, look, fathers must be celebrated? What has made it so necessary for us to do that?
Well, let me come from an angle of the word. I feel that those whose duty it has been to break down the word have now gotten the revelation better.
Okay.
Coming from church, you would have men of God really give us, call it the precise, accurate understanding of the role of a father, without adding emotions. In the past, it won't happen because, like I'm saying, even the scripture in Ephesians 6, it puts the mothers first. If you take your time and you read that scripture and you go down, you notice that after having said, honor your father and mother, it comes back to the father. Say, hey, father, make sure you don't provoke your child. Do this, do that, So a kind of call it expose or understanding of the role of the father has been quite revealing in this day and age. Plus, now I think, not to run any comparison, but if I should, for some time now, men have risen to the occasion. The narrative has changed. Those days we would have our mothers virtually doing everything. You get it? Well, mommy's going to be home. She's a housewife, so she's playing the role as such. But now we have fathers who will share the responsibility. So it's as though now the men have come also into the fold. We are playing our role. So you can't tell me that, hey, so all that I've done for you, when it's time for celebration, you only celebrate mama and you leave daddy. So with time, there's been some kind of education, some kind of awareness created, and I believe that we've had some real, perhaps, good teachers of the word who have made us understand that, Charlie, it is also the role of us to celebrate our fathers, even though sometimes they reject being honored, yeah.
Right then, Kofi, I would want you to share your fatherhood experience, with us. I remember those times when our kids, were at the age of going to weigh-in. We have to go for weighing and all of that. I'll go for weighing with my wife, and in fact, when we're driving to the hospital, I think I'm doing something so extraordinary. I'm a man. I'm going taking my babies for weighing.
Yeah.
But I go there and find men like myself.
Yeah.
Some in suit and tie, carrying their babies,
right,
waiting to weigh their babies. And some of them, the wives may not even be around.
Right.
You get it. And this is not a man who's just sitting at home not doing anything.
Thank you.
He will be going to work. For some reason or the other. They are sharing the responsibility. I would want you to share with us your now they say we should say daddy, your daddy experience with us.
It's quite an interesting one. I mean, you personally have been very close to my family, so you know most of the things. But the thing is this: right from the one, I have been part of the process. I mean, going to the hospital, the antenatal, the scans and all that. I've always been there. I've always been there when the unfortunately or fortunately all the things we had came through cesarean section. I've always been through the worst. But you see, what really makes me fulfilled as a father at a point was when my wife had to go to school. She was doing she took up a program from Lagos and was a distance student, so at a point they have to move to campus, stay for a month or so to write her exams. The kids were also in school at the time. So I really had the opportunity to say, okay, let me take them to grandma. So I had to make sure I'll prepare them in the morning, cook for them, take them to school, bring them back. Get them from school. For 1 month, it's just daddy acting as mommy and daddy at the same time. And for me, my joy is always to always live the lives of my children every day of their lives once I'm around.
Is it fun?
And it is for free.
Is it fun?
It's a joy for me. It's not really. I don't really want to call it fun. Fun is quite temporal, but I think joy is permanent. It's even here. I'm not with them. I've been away for about a month plus. But every day when they come from school, we have to talk. We have to know what's happening in school, what happened there. Which lessons did you do? Which lessons did you do? How did it go? There's that bond. I think it's a joy. That's I think calling it fun is an understatement. It's a joy to be part of the process. The experience is awesome. Where and every day the mom will tell me that anytime they leave for school, they will miss you. They say that daddy is here because I have to drive them to school and I have to get them from school.
Wow.
And they are never late because that is something I deliberately decided that punctuality is a seed I want to sow into their lives, just as I want to sow the seed of godliness in their lives. And so they, at this point in their life, they even appreciate that. And in the answers, I remember when I was leaving, the day I was literally leaving for the airport, they said that we don't have to the answers, we go to that. So I think that if we are very deliberate with our children, it's fun to be part of their lives, and that makes fatherhood a very unique experience, to have. And then there's one memory that anytime it hits me, my eyes get teary. Was I think about 3 years ago, we just moved into our new house, and I was just about driving out, and the last one, Achaka decided to go and open the gate, and this huge metal gate fell on her.
Wow.
So, it's an experience I never will forget in my life. I just couldn't stand seeing my daughter go through pain, and I had to carry her around. So we don't have ambulance.
How old was she then?
It's quite an experience that I don't know when I'll forget, and I could just imagine the pain that little girl at age 7 was going through.
Age 7?
Yes, a whole gate, a metal gate, fell on her.
Mercy.
And until it, all my kids, anytime any of them have to go to the hospital, I have to personally take them there. So the experience is enormous, and I don't think that we can just use one show to discuss the experience of being a father.
Wow. Interestingly, you have all daughters. So
I run a girls' dormitory.
Come again.
I run a girls' dormitory.
You run a girls' dormitory. You are the only boy in the girls' dormitory.
that makes 2 of us.
Right. Oh, Fifi, you also have all girls.
I have 2 girls.
Wow. You share a lot in common then.
I know, right?
You are both Friday borns, and you both have all girls. So on the back of that, Fifi, kindly share your daddy experience, with us as well.
Graciously, I've been a daddy. This is my 12th year because my first girl is
12.
Well, in fact, I want to start from when my wife took seed, so that should take it to 13 years approximately. Because 9 months I had to play a certain role that meant I was going to become a daddy. And I'm coming from a background where my father wasn't there until he was there.
What does that one mean? That sounds like a parable.
I grew up to a father who was there, but he was involved with a whole lot. He didn't know Christ, and so we wish he wasn't there, even when he was there. You understand?
Wow.
Yeah. So when he came to know Christ, that's when we started getting to, excuse me, feel the fatherly love I mean, even those days when he wasn't there, it was. But it's like the father you always fear to be around. Even when he's showing you love, you're wondering, okay, what's going to happen next? Yeah. And so it kind of gave me a responsibility to change the narrative for my family, And so I remember that one of the things I decided.
So what you lacked
rather
challenged you
to
give the best to your children.
Yes. Because I felt that some of the things we started enjoying after the time he had really come, into the picture very well. If it had come early, it would have changed a lot of things. So, I purposed in my heart that I was going to be there for my children. So I remember my wife would talk about the fact that sometimes I was even more emotional than she was, even carrying the pregnancy. It was like I'm over concerned. You get it. And so I'll make sure that I'm always there. There was nothing around that time in my life that would take me away from, hey, I need help. Hey, I need this. You know what goes in pregnancy, the period. I want this, I want that. I got to be there because in my mind, I'm looking at the bigger picture. When all is said and done and they said, okay, push. I'm trusting God I'm going to have a baby who's going to come and call me daddy. So I would play the role. And so I remember that was one of the things I sought to do. I remember the night before my wife would deliver, I'd close from work, I had followed the doctor's report and everything. And so I decided, you know what, if it's going to happen today, sometimes they miss the timing. But, I said, okay, if it's going to happen today and everything shows, I'm going to be there. And if it means I have to sleep there even in my car, I will. Because I want to see the experience, And I remember that, I had a privilege to be, she had a special room, so I had a privilege to be there with her, monitoring everything. And then, at somewhere around dawn, the feeling was, hey, I'm not, I just knew that this was the time, So I remember I was the one who was panicking, calling nurses, Charlie, it looks like. They said, don't worry, we'll get. I said, no, I want to, because they were going to take her to the theater. I said, well, I want to use the wheelchair. They said, no, they're going to make her walk because it also will aid with some fees, because it's not like I'm just overreacting. And so I took my cool. And I remember when we went in there, they wanted me to stay outside. And I'm like, no, I have to be back. Yeah. They said, no, sir, you look too. I guess they figured I was too emotional. Yeah. I said, oh, no, but I got to be there. So I spoke to the doctor. He said, well, but promises you're going to be quiet and, don't come and do your things. Because we have seen the way you're panicking. And I remember I was in there.
You won't be like my friend who collapsed when the wife shouted.
Oh, my word.
I had a friend like that.
Oh, my word. So I was in there and I remember the only thing I could do, because I wasn't allowed to get close, was just to be praying. Yeah. And you should see me praying like I was crazy. You're like, hey, Chama, I know I was like, God, I was binding all the demons there, And then this was the moment where I heard them say, push, and my wife and I was praying, oh God, and all of a sudden I heard, yeah. Oh my God. What a feeling it was. I wanted to jump there and just see the face of the baby. In fact, at a point, I wasn't even happy one of the nurses, the way she took the baby and she just, in a way, like threw her on the weighing thing. Yeah. That's how they do it. But you know me, I thought, hey, the baby will fall down. Why you balance the baby here? It was quite emotional. And so when I saw that moment, and especially what my wife went through, the pain, I could see her like literally crying, pushing. And then I said to myself, wow, this is what women go through. I'm happy I'm here. It changes the narrative for me, how to treat the woman. Because, the 9 months, sometimes the men, if you say, they see what they go on. They might not really, at best, some of the things they'll ask us do, go and buy me this, I'm craving for this. But what goes in there, the kickings, the stuff, all of that. So when the baby came out, I purposed in my heart that, you know what, I need to be part of every moment of this child. And
so that was a deliberate decision to be part of the whole thing right from the onset. Yes.
And so it wouldn't be a struggle when she says, okay, this week is for weighing or whatever, all the cares, go. In fact, prior to that, all the antenatal stuff, I would try and go. Just and I'm sure you're going to be asking some of my low moments. I probably would tell. Yeah, I probably would tell you, but it has always been my desire that anything to do with my children, also focusing on how delicate my wife is, because there are times that we focus on the children and forget that it was a mother who also went through the whole process. So that whole mother child husband or daddy relationship has been one of the things I have desired in my heart to do, and do it well. And perhaps my wife will have to score me, but I think that I'm trying.
Fifi's already marking himself.
Yeah, I think I'm trying.
Fifi's already marking himself. We're going to be looking at fatherhood then and fatherhood now. But before we get there, I would want, we've shared all the exciting moments, the wonderful times, and all of that. But Kofi, I want you to, I want to find out, have there been times where, as a father, you've been down there? I mean, your low moments as a father.
Yeah, I think I've had two of such experiences. I just shared the first one when the metal gate fell on my 7-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And then my second daughter also got hospitalized. And you see, the thing is, the pain, when I see them going through pain, I wish I could just take over the pain from them. And then, carry the pain, until everything is okay, and then they get back, or things get back to normal. For me, these are the very low moments where, and this one was, I think she was 1 year, 7 months or so. And she has to be admitted at Holy Trinity Hospital at North Kanishi for weeks, and we just didn't know what was happening to her. And it was such a low moment that I just don't know how to describe it. Literally, my wife and I had to live in the hospital there for all those days. We were together there, and I mean, even also for my wife and I, we are always like someone and back. So the feeling, once it affects one, it gets to affect the other. And so these are moments where you just don't know how to go. And the only thing you can hold on at that particular moment is prayer. Just ask God to take over and ask God to intervene.
The reason why I'm asking these questions is because there's a thought pattern out there that when it comes to trying moments, in the family, fathers are passive. They don't feel along with the family, but the mothers, especially when it has to do with the children, but the mothers are very concerned. They feel, that empathy is there. Is the reason why I'm throwing such questions. Just
I think that is the narrative of them years ago.
Okay.
That was the narrative of some 20 years ago. So I think these days, go to the hospitals, go to the weighing centers, and see if you will see the man there. I think there's new wave of fathers coming up. I've been posting some of them on my social media handles. They saw me post our own Philip now.
Yes.
I've been watching from a distance, and I see how Philip is so much involved in the lives of his children. I think those days when we need to see that fathers were, in that passive mood. I don't believe that. I don't think that's the case now. Even if we have such cases, I think it should be a case in the minority. And that's the more reason why I think that fathers, there is a generation of fathers that are getting things right, but we are not honoring them.
Right. Throw same question to you.
Right.
I mean, we've shared all the wonderful experiences as fathers, but have there been low moments, times where as a father, Charlie, you are down there,
I was trying to mention something earlier, but I still can say it now. When it comes to fatherhood, right, I think that availability for me, we can all agree that
today's father is available.
Today's father must be available. I was even going to talk about, we can all agree that, we must have money to provide for them. I think that in the past, that took over culture, where the father felt, I'm providing, so hey, you know what, come and take the money and go, but availability, being there, and I'm talking about present, physical presence, right? And so our job, you and I understand, where we will struggle sometimes to be there because the demand and the timing is a little awkward. I can imagine having to wake up that early
dawn.
by 2:45. I have to wake up Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
you know. And so I told myself, if I'm going to be doing this work, which for me is more of a ministry, how do I compensate for, you know, my children and time? So Monday through Wednesday, I make sure I'm there. Let's get you warm water to bathe. Let's iron for you. Let's have an interaction. So a lot of the times for me, I make sure that my children enjoy my company when I'm around. Okay, there are so many. I mean, it's about training them the way they should go. And I've decided that I will be, for want of a better word, their first boyfriend, where they can tell me almost everything. But it comes with the bonding. So my issue for my low moments, it will be timing, availability. You know, I know sometimes money in there because, you know, now we live in a world of demands, and sometimes the pressure even comes from where they probably go to school, the kind of friends they have. And sometimes, you know, that's why we have to let them understand that, look, all hands are not equal, and sometimes the pressure should not be carried from wherever home. You know, you can imagine people flaunting A, B, C, D, and then they come to you and they assume that, okay, if A has it, it's okay for me to have it. You know, we wish we had all the money in the world to take care of them. But for me, without the money, if you are there present, you can even convince them. Imagine you're not there and the money too is not there. There's trouble. You can be there present and say, no, honey, I don't have it now. Let's trust God for another time. But you, dear boo, the money is not coming. You're also not there. And money should not be an excuse. I mean, I can agree how, you know, again, because the narrative in the past was have money, give. There are fathers who will sign the check. They don't show up at any sports game. They are not at any, you know, there are so many things I have to do to sacrifice. You can imagine sometimes, you know, my office around the area, I close and have to go back home because, you know, something's happening in the school, and this is shared responsibility. It's not those days where, okay, it's just, okay, mother, I've put the money down, handle everything. Only call me when you need money. No. Consider the fact that the woman is also playing a role. So the narrative has changed. Culture has also changed. And for me, I still go back to the church. I feel that those who lead us now have understood what it means to tell us the truth. Precise, accurate knowledge of who a father is. And I believe that fathers who sit in churches, they keep hearing these things. Sunday school, they will have their skit, or, you know, when you sit down and hear these things, it kind of, it kind of goes out. In the past, you know, those things were not even allowed in churches, you know, you know. So for me, those low moments will be one that stands tall, unavailability, timing, you know. But with time, they are growing, so they understand. So if I'm not there for today, I make sure tomorrow I show up, and whatever I was supposed to have done, I do a double, just so you know that, okay, you know what, make up for it.
Right then. Kofi, fatherhood then and fatherhood now, we know that there's a difference. We've already established that truth, that there's a big difference between the father of yesterday and today's father. How do we get the family to appreciate this truth so as to give the honor that is due the father without us going through what we've been through, you know, for a couple of months, having Kofi Donkor post on social media every day, you know, celebrate fathers. Oh, Father's Day is coming. Oh, Father's Day is coming. Oh, you know. How do we get the family to understand that there is a big difference between yesterday's father and today's father?
Also, I think that I would want to start from our wives.
Okay.
I think a lot more depends. I mean, it should come from our wives. If they make, you know, children are such that they model after what they see.
Yeah.
And then they what they hear. So if our wives they decide that they are going to give the children the good impressions about their fathers, get them to see and appreciate what role, the important role their fathers are playing in their lives. If the children are going to rally the wives are going to rally the children, you know, behind to appreciate fathers better, the narrative will definitely change. I remember posting that, asking on Facebook that, are you saving towards the Father's Day for husband? And the lady came to say that she would rather save towards making her father happy instead of her husband. Then I replied and said, then why don't you go marry your father? Yes, because it really doesn't add up for me. You think that you are married to someone you wouldn't want to honor and celebrate, and rather you go and celebrate your father, who is married to your mom. I don't get it. If you think that the man is good for you to,
well, someone will tell you
that he's your husband,
right?
Then what is wrong with you trying, getting the children to also appreciate and celebrate him after daddy? And I think that we are doing our bit. If our wives are going to tell our children that daddy bought you this, say thank you to daddy. You get them to know that. And for me, it's always been a culture. The thieves, I always put the money into their hands. There are times that I drive them to the shopping center, give them money, just myself and the girls. Go shop, buy. They come and they know that this one doesn't give us the money to buy. Sometimes, we shouldn't always give the money to mommy and say, mommy, go and buy this stuff for them. We should be part of the process. Let them know and appreciate that there are priorities in our lives. When we get that across and get our wives to really give us that support, that look, if you would openly tell someone that this is my husband, and you know that I am living up to my responsibilities as a husband, and you know very well that I'm doing the same for the children, get the children to also appreciate what that is doing. It's a deliberate effort we have to put in to make sure. The narrative will not change overnight, but it's a process.
Right. I mean, Kofi's raised an important point that the mothers, who are our wives, would have to also deliberately get involved and make the children begin to appreciate that by modeling, so the children follow suit. Well, your take on that, Fee?
Well, I couldn't agree any less. I think that it comes in handy as well. But trust me, we're in a generation where now there's a lot of education. People are aware. Those days, even the fact that we didn't have a lot of radio station, TV networks, social media talking about it, it kind of felt like, and by reason of the role of the woman, she was always celebrated. Now, we are seeing, adverts are running. Joy is doing the Real Daddy Code.
Yeah.
It's running. Things are happening over the years. If, say, 10 years ago, it wasn't happening, now we are seeing it, and I can promise you that the future looks bright. Because, and again, it's also because the men now have taken up the responsibility very well. Those days, our wives were housewives. That's how the culture looked like. Stay at home, let me go and work and bring the money. But now, we're both working. So we sit down. Responsibility. That's why you see a man in tie at the weighing center. Okay, because maybe that time his wife has to be awake. The whole idea. So the narrative for me has changed. It's good for the mothers to also come in, but let's not push it too hard.
But there is a school of thought that reason why over the years fathers have not been celebrated the way they ought to is not necessarily because they have certain weaknesses, because mothers also have their weaknesses, but the mothers of yesterday were very good at bad mouthing the fathers to the children, so they have a way of painting the father in a certain light, and getting the child to hate the father,
which obviously will be true, because if
exactly, and the man is not talking, so the children will say, well, it's true.
I get you right. What I wish fathers would do henceforth, if we have not started, is to be involved. If we are involved there, the children don't know what's happening.
But there are fathers who say that, especially in a case where the two are separated, there are fathers who say that the woman has not allowed me to be part of the lives of the children.
I think you should create it. You can create it.
Kofi, you were saying something.
Yes, that is what Fifi just said. Create it, force your way in there.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. But would you say that it is true, that assertion is true, that the mothers of yesterday, that is, our generation, our mothers, not as for our children, you know, but our generation, our parents, our mothers, you know, have contributed to the way we do not celebrate the fathers, you know, of our generation. I mean, our fathers, that they were good at bad mouthing them, telling us about their weaknesses and all of that.
Absolutely. That's actually the case. I think that in most cases, our mothers then, you know, did that harm to us. They painted pictures that wasn't really the case or wasn't really the situation. And you know, but you one day come to realize that what mommy said wasn't the absolute truth. And by then it would have been too late. You would have been denied the opportunity to really bond, you know, to have bonded well with your father, you know, and it's true. I agree absolutely to that point.
Right. So we're going to talk about the real daddy code.
Yep.
But I want to ask both of you, now that we've drummed the message home, you know, in fact, still drumming the message home, what's the way forward?
Well, you know, when I was coming over, I was thinking about daddy, you know, the whole concept of daddy. And I figured you ask me, okay, so what should fathers of today be doing differently so that they can merit their being celebrated, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote this down. I could share that quickly. I wrote that breaking down daddy, the first word should be dutiful. You know, you must be at post. And I'm excited this particular promotion talks about being present. And I mentioned earlier, not just the money, because sometimes you can leave the money on the table and just go elsewhere, but just be sure that we are there. So the first letter is D, dutiful. Second is affectionate. We must be there to give them the TLC. I mean, of course, you would understand sometimes when you even have to reprimand them, you are able to show them love so that they understand that the correction was done in love. Okay, so dutiful, affectionate, and fathers should be daring. And I say this because there are a lot of fathers who do not understand the adventure of today. You understand? Sometimes that's how you can build your children. They've got so much energy. There's so many things they want to explore. If you're not a daring father, you don't give them the vim, as it were, to handle some of these things. And then the other D is disciplinarian. I mean, spare the rod, spoil the child. Understand where you come in to talk and don't use. It's still, you can use words to reprimand your child, but make sure that that value is there. We didn't have it easy growing up. But now we're not asking that overly lash or big, but just make sure you are strict in every sense of the word, disciplinarian. And then the last letter here, which is Y, is be a youthful daddy. Don't be some old school daddy who can't catch up with the trends. You know what I'm saying? You have to catch up with the trends. Your children are coming home with a whole lot of things happening. I mean, you might not know
what's up.
Well, research. You get, otherwise, you know what? You're going to lose that slot to some other boyfriend somewhere or some other somebody there who doesn't even know what it means to take care of your children. You know, and for me, it means a lot. You know what I'm saying? I am there for my girls, 2 girls. I am their first boyfriend. We are talking about everything. I make them comfortable. They have my trust, okay? There are things, okay, we ain't going to tell mommy. Of course, I'll go and tell mommy. But they know that
they know you haven't told them.
So that's how it works. Otherwise, you know, the gap is too wide. And if we don't take care, especially for the children we are raising now and the advent of technology, all of that, there's a whole lot of, forgive my friend, rot out there that they might see as the model for who a father figure should be in their lives. And for me, I'm excited that Joy FM is running this campaign just to create the awareness that, look, fathers, be there.
Right. We're going to talk more about that. Kofi, what's the way forward? Now that we've drummed home the message, fathers must be celebrated. What's the way forward?
I used to say this, and coming from what you just said, I have to sound that caution again. The very moment you assume that you are on top, that is the beginning of your downfall. Let us say we've drummed home, we are still drumming home. We are not there yet, but we're going to get there. I think that for me, I in my opening remarks, I made a point that the fact that you are able to impregnate a woman does not make you a father, but it takes a rare man to become a father. And I want to give brief characteristics of a real man. A real man provides for his family. A real man protects his family. A real man takes the spiritual authority of his family. He is the spiritual authority of his family. A real man leads an exemplary life for his children. And I think that is very important. Once we are able to get our children to know that this is what I do. So we are consistent in our actions. So you don't tell them, don't do this whilst you are doing it. You are telling your child it's not good to smoke, it's not good to take alcohol, and then you send the same child to go and buy you cigarettes and get you a bottle of beer. We have to be consistent. And I think one very important thing that we don't have to also lose sight of is the fact that a real man loves his wife. Love your wife. Let your children know that mommy is very important in whatever we do. Let them get to understand and appreciate how you love and protect your wife. It's very important, and it also goes into their subconscious to prepare them, to get them to understand that in future if they should get married, this is how marriage is supposed to be. So we are making a case for ourselves, and we are making a case for their future as well. I think we don't have to give up. We need to get our wives along. This campaign, let's get our wives along. For me, for us to be able to jump in and make the change we really want, I think 50% of that job is with our wives.
Right. So, Fee,
Yes,
the
sir.
Real Daddy Code, what does it entail? What is it, and what does it entail?
Well, so as part of adding our voice and creating a platform to honor and celebrate Father's Joy, Superstation, we are at it again. And this time is the Real Daddy Code. I mean, the focus, of course, is to continue to congratulate the fathers who are playing their daddy roles. And the focus is that, Charlie, be daddy and be present. Now, it says, simply share photos of some of those amazing moments with your children with us. Sometimes I'm in a car and I'm praying with my kids, and I'll do a video on Instagram and show. The whole idea is to create an impression that, you and your kids can have some prayer time in the car. Some people will see somebody saw it and say, wow, I like what you're doing with your kids. They grow up and they also send it across. And so things like that. If you got a video like that with you and your children having amazing moments playing together as a daddy, Joy FM is asking that you share those photos with us, of course, and you can WhatsApp it to 055-1111-997. Also, tell us how important and how gratifying it is to be involved and hands-on in your children's lives. And then finally, share, message stating your specific Real Daddy Code with all fathers out there, like what we've shared. Some of these pointers that go a long way, to help fathers, just to pick some points. Okay, so this is how it's done. I can also add up to it. Like a friend sent a text, Franklin, I think is in Belgium somewhere. I think he said that, I'm trying to get what he said, when we're talking about the role of fathers. He said fathers live in their children, but mothers live with their children.
Fathers live in their children, but mothers live
with their children.
Wow.
I found that quite profound. So basically that is it. Sunday, let's make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So be part of the Real Daddy Code.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah.
Let's keep celebrating and honoring fathers. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Fifi Folson.
Thanks for the honor,
right here in the studio. And joining us on Zoom is the one and only Kofi Donkor. If you don't know who Kofi Donkor is, he's the dear husband of Celestine Donkor.
Very peace loving Kofi Donkor. You didn't add that one.
Well, we'll talk about that off air. Thank you very much, Kofi. God richly bless you.
Amen.
Right, as far as today's edition of of A Walk with Jesus is, because I nearly said Joy Time in his presence.
You are the host there, don't worry.
Of A Walk with Jesus, Uncle Ken is up next with Jazz
sir.
on Joy. Uncle Ken.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day in advance.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much, and the same to you both.
Right.
Haven't seen Kofi in
I
ages.
know.
Oh, really?
It's an
It's
honor.
amazing how we live in this house,
I just listened to
I
him. I don't see him.
know. It's an honor. I'm listening to him. Please play a song for me.
I know. I will. But he said something about how he lives with his children, how
Yes.
he deals with the children.
Yeah.
He made the point.
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily have spoken about this Father's Day thing because Joy FM, you excluded Father's age, my age,
Oh.
from the
I
whole
know.
program.
25 to
Oh.
45.
You said
Oh, it's 25 to 45. No, I think
You know,
I think
and-
that we should stretch it
Yeah.
beyond that.
Because
Okay,
people
then
my
no
age
father.
still have their fathers alive.
Exactly.
Even though I don't. But I mean,
Exactly.
people my age
Exactly.
still have their fathers alive.
It's true.
But he did say something that you should act youthful
Yeah.
with your kids.
Yes.
My kids can't put one over me because I am too smart. You know, and,
You know what's
and
up?
I know what's up.
You know what's up, man?
I know what's up.
I know, right?
Oh, I see. So we have a living example here.
Yeah.
But how have you managed to do that? I mean, is it just being deliberate, or is just part of you as Ken Addy?
That's me. That's me.
see.
I love the youth.
Wow.
You know, so I get to know everything that's happening around me.
I see.
So that I can converse with the youth.
Right.
You know, any topic they bring up, I can deal with it.
I see.
Quite evident
I
on
see.
showbiz.
Yeah,
What
it
I
is.
hear, I'm like,
It is.
I don't even know that, Uncle Ken. You know that?
You know, so
For his age, yeah. Right
It's
then,
nice.
but Uncle Ken, before we hand over to you, if there is an advice that a young father will be sitting at your feet to receive, what will be that advice that you will give to
That's the real daddy code.
him?
I think the most important thing, I take it from me. I grew up in an era where the child had no say in anything. You didn't even have a say in what you wear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything had to be done.
Some kind of soldier line.
Yes.
You
But
know.
I have learned with time that you give them the space
Thank you.
and just guide them along the line. Give them the space to develop the way they want to develop. Just guide them along the way and don't sit on their creativity. That's all I would say to fathers. You know, make sure you do what you're supposed to do as a father
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
And like he said, don't let them see you argue or with their mother.
No.
Let them see you and their mother as two loving people.
Yeah.
You know, and then they grow up that way.
Wow.
You know, they'll grow up to respect women the way you respect their mother
True.
at home. It's very important.
True.
You know.
True. Wow.
Thank you.
So that's a word for young fathers out there, coming from Uncle Ken Addy. The greatest gift that you can give to your children is to love their mother. This is where we wrap up on today's edition of A Walk with Jesus. My name is Ato Acquah. Many thanks to Abraham Ofosofori for the production. I think that we'll have to arrange a time with Uncle Ken and we'll talk about fatherhood. Right then.
Second.
All right then. So we're out. We hand you over into the able hands of Uncle Ken Addy for Jazz on Joy. We're out.